We're here at Watches and Wonders 2025. I'm joined today by Mathieu from UN, the Managing Director. Mathieu, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Really appreciate you taking the time. Obviously, I think you have one of, if not the best release at Watches and Wonders in the sports watch category at the very least, right? And that is the new UN Diver Era. But before we get into it, I kind of wanted to, first of all, get your feedback, obviously, from Watches and Wonders 2025, and maybe talk a little bit about the theme of this year's release, rather.
So Diver Air is the lightest mechanical dive watch in the world, right? So yeah, if I had 3 seconds in the elevator with you, this is what I would say to you. But this is not necessarily what we wanted to do at the beginning. We've been working 5 years on the project, and 5 years ago we wanted to create the ultimate high horology sport watch, and this is what Diver Air is. It is the ultimate high horology sport watch, and the way, and we'll get into it later on, but the way we build also, the booth at Watches and Wonders is to be able to express, high horology, high technology. Also the high performance, which is linked to the sport watch. And we are here also sitting in a studio. I wanted to show, to everyone that content creation is a priority for us. And I want to create good qualitative content. I want you to feel at ease. And it's, see-through, transparent in the middle of the booth. So it's highly visible. And we have also a very cool social hub on the left part of the booth with DJ, the best coffee, in the fair, a cool social area where people can sit. That's all in one, what we wanted to create for this year.
Yeah, not to mention, of course, you guys have this incredible punching bag to show off the incredible G-force resistance of the watch itself, right? And I think of all the booths at Watches and Wonders, there's no question about it. You guys have been one of, if not the busiest, because of your setup, right? And that's something, obviously, to take note of. Now, the watch itself, right? I think that when I look at the watch, or I first saw the watch, I think it encapsulated everything that makes Ulysse Nardin great. And that is, for one, material innovation, right? You are one of, if not the pioneers of material innovation in the watch industry. And then, of course, technical innovation with respect to the movement itself, and also just how light it is of a watch. And also in terms of proportionality. I think that's something that watch collectors are looking for more and more, is kind of well-fitting, well-wearing watches. I have it a 6.1 inch wrist. So it's very hard for me to find nice fitting sports watches for the most part, because, a sports watch is not meant to be a small dainty watch, right? It has to be a little bit bigger. And this here at 43 millimeters fits perfectly on my wrist.
So in fact, to go back to the vision we had 5 years ago, is we wanted to create the ultimate high horology smartwatch. And we agreed that there are 3 ultimate challenges that we need to reach. One is lightness. I do a lot of sports and I don't wear, digital watches. I like mechanical watches. And when you've got something, metal bracelet, for instance, I don't use it for doing, exercising or, playing. So we wanted to create something super light so that it's meant to play. You don't wear it just to lift the trophy. We also wanted to have something robust. When you want to have something light, generally it's not super robust. So, but we wanted to combine, those 2 key elements. And robust for us, we have a strong legitimacy in dive watches. Actually, before making the first dive watches in the 1960s, we created the first water-resistant timekeeping instrument, creating the first 9 kilometer water-resistant in a aluminum capsule. And so we wanted that product to be a dive watch. 200 meter resistance was the minimum. The watch had to be automatic. And then another part of the robustness, 5,000 Gs. 5,000 Gs, in a way, I don't find it exceptional, but it is exceptional when you have something super light. And on top of that, that is highly skeletonized. 500 G resistance is what we have in the entry-level diver, the Diver 44 titanium. But we wanted to have the same level of shock resistance on, the most complex diver ever made. And the high horology is in the skeletonization. We've been making a skeletonized caliber since 1991. We've pioneered skeletonized caliber in the dive watch in 2021, the Diver Skeleton X. And we said, okay, anyway, we're going to have to lose weight. So we will have to remove even more material that we did than the Diver Skeleton X. So the result is the most extreme skeletonized caliber we ever made. It's a new caliber, the 374. Only 20% is mass, so 80% is air on the caliber. And actually the caliber has been the most challenging part. And I think the three key things to remember on that watch is high horology because of the skeletonization. It's high tech because of all the component and advanced materials we've used. And it's high performance because of the 52 grams, 200 meters, and 5,000 Gs.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's really what distinguishes UN amongst other brands in the industry, right? It's one, first and foremost, your quality, craftsmanship, the testament. It's really a testament to, I think, what UN's core values are, right? Is creating timepieces that are, in the traditional watchmaking, but brought to the 21st century. And I think that really exemplifies it in this timepiece, right? The use of advanced materials as well. And of course, your silicon technology, which I think is by far the best in the industry. And again, you guys are the pioneers of that, right?
Yes, indeed. So, few things on the materials. Silicone. So all the escapement is in silicone. So the hairspring, balance wheel, the escapement wheel, the anchor, are all in silicone. We made them in-house because we co-founded a company called Sigatech. And we are the pioneer of silicone back in 2001 with the Freak. So we introduced silicone to watchmaking. So it's funny to think that today silicone is an advanced material that we use in microchips. We pioneered that in watchmaking, almost 25 years ago. Yeah. And the second element is titanium. So it's not a pioneer material, but it's an advanced material. Titanium is okay when you make a case. It's not okay when you want to make a caliber out of it, because when you manufacture very small components in titanium, it has the habit of catching fire. So to be able to create that many small components in titanium has been the most challenging part making that watch. And then you've got two other key components, materials. You've got the carbon foil. So carbon foil is a carbon fiber. We used to take it from the aeronautic industry. This time we are taking it from the sailing boat industry. So, we are one of the partners of the Vendée Globe, which is the craziest and the most demanding solo race around the globe in sailing boats. And they have developed over the years what we call foils. So they put in carbon fiber some part on the side of the boat so that when they get enough speed, they can get even quicker. In the process of manufacturing those foils, there are some leftovers of carbonium. We use that to make some components, like the bezel. And then the side part of the case, the middle part is in titanium for the water resistance. But the side part is going to be lighter than titanium. It's called nylofoil. Nylofoil, it's a pioneer material of Ulysse Nardin, made 40% of carbonium, 60% of nylon that comes from the ocean netting that we get from the sea. The main purpose is twofold. One is to make the best material possible to have the best ratio of lightness versus robustness. Two, it's to raise awareness on ocean pollutions. The oceans are becoming garbage. And doing that, we help cleaning the oceans because we finance NGOs like Plastic Odyssey that really help reducing and removing the plastic of the sea. But we are even managing to create a superior material, based on that.
Wow. Yeah, and that's obviously super impressive because what you're doing is first and foremost recycling material that would otherwise be waste, and then ultimately creating something that we can wear essentially for the rest of our lives and pass different generations.
But the point is not to make, just so we're clear, we don't intend to make the most sustainable watch, right? We want to make the best product possible with the most advanced material possible. But if on top of that, we can raise awareness on something which is dear to us, even better.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think it speaks to the core values of UN, creating the best product possible, right? Now, of course, this was an exceptional release this year at Watches and Wonders. I do have a question in terms of what we can maybe expect for the rest of the year.
We're gonna be so rest of the year, and I can already tell you about next year. The next 18 months are gonna be pretty heavy with Freak. When I say pretty heavy, not with like a shitload of product that we are launching, few, but we're gonna keep concentrating on Freak. Because Freak remain the red thread and the most important collection at Ulysse Nardin, and for what it represents for modern watchmaking, Freak is a mother of modern watchmaking, and it has inspired many brands, and especially the brand that I've been creating the last 25 years, and on that perspective, we're gonna also launch collaboration at the end of the year, something super fun, something that as a collector we're gonna launch really a watch that I want to buy myself, something pretty extraordinary really at the end of the year. And next year we will celebrate 25th anniversary of the Freak, so we won't launch much, but we're gonna launch significant business.
Absolutely, and that's something I'm very much looking forward to. The Freak to me is maybe one of the most underappreciated iconic watches in the history of watchmaking for what it represents, right? First and foremost, advancements in silicon technology, right? That's something that you were, of course, pioneers of. Then also the carousel tourbillon, first of its kind, flying carousel tourbillon, may I add, right? Can you talk a little bit about maybe what makes the Freak so special and why maybe people should pay more attention to it?
So Freak has been awarded a couple of years ago, the Freak one, as the most iconic timepiece of the category. So, you have different categories, and there is the iconic category. We won that category this year. So it's not me saying that it's iconic. It's the industry.
Absolutely.
At the end of the 90s, watchmaking was still very much traditional in terms of design and in terms of how a watch was being operated. And three people had a discussion. Ulysse Nardin. So Ulysse Nardin, if you don't know him, he was the only man in the 80s able to fix and completely restore the astronomical clock at the Vatican, the only man on the planet. He's the man that created the most complicated astronomical timepiece in 1990, and the Astrolabium Galileo Galilei. He's been listed in the Guinness Book of Records. He's been the man behind the Perpetua calendar and Ludwig, the first crown-only Perpetua calendar that you can set both forwards and backwards. AB just released crown-only Perpetua calendar that you can set forwards, but not backwards for the same information. We did better 30 years ago. I'm not here to say, hey, we are better than IP. No, but we've been inspiring other watchmakers. He's the man that developed the Freak. We had also Rolf Schneider, the visionary owner of Ulysse Nardin at that time. And we had also Pierre Gigax, who was a talented engineer working on the silicone. The starting point of Freak was to do something that would disrupt the watchmaking industry, right? So that there is a before and after. So they said, what makes a watch work? And what describes a watch aesthetically to be a watch? A crown, a dial, and hands. So what about when we do a watch with none of that? That was the starting point. And Freak they were far from realizing that they were able to do a watch. Freak was a code name of the project. And they managed to do it. So Freak is not just a revolution with the silicone. It's a revolution in terms of mechanics to be able to display the time with a movement, but it's also a revolution in terms of design. And look at all the watch brands that have been created in the last 25 years. The one that displayed the time creatively with our hands. The one that has been taking risk in terms of shape of watches, etc. And it's not me saying that. We interviewed a couple of years ago many brand CEOs, indies, owners. They all said that they've been inspired one way or another by the Freak. That's why Freak is the mother of modern watchmaking. We are in the era of modern watchmaking. freak is a mother. That's why it is important.
I couldn't agree more. It was essentially a basis of creativity that I think helped propel what we now know today as independent watchmaking. We have so many independents created, I think, their brands from pioneers like yourselves, right? Because they were so inspired by your work. Thank you so much for sharing that story. It really is a pleasure. I'm really excited to see, obviously, the release this year, how it's received. I think it's going to be a tremendous release for you guys. And of course, I'm very much looking forward to releases for the rest of the year and next year when it's going to be very, very important for you guys. Thank you so much, Matsu. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more videos like this in the future. If you have any questions about this UN watch or any UN watches in general, please leave them down in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next.